Right, hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I was trying to get started, and Kipster decided to. He's Kipster's going to join me today. He's going to help me out. So, I still don't have the other login. There we go. Sounds good. Thank you, Nero. Yeah, I still don't have the chat is still not up. I need to log in, and of course, I don't remember my login password. I thought I did, but I don't. So, I was like, oh, need like a. It's like it's weird. It has to be like two-factor authentication, but it like goes through this other thing. And it's like, oh, why is it such a pain? Um. All right, so I had to give Kip a second keyboard because he is pounding on the main keyboard and sending windows and stuff like that everywhere. But he is definitely gamer at heart. I don't know if you guys can hear him pounding the keys. Thank God, reset a second keyboard. Um. Anyway, so starting off for the morning. Obviously, the U.S. raised 0.25. Market initially was like, "Oh no, we've raised interest rates," and then it was like, "Ha, it's only 0.25," and the markets all went right back up. So, pretty. I would say it's pretty disappointing. I don't know. Trying to use I just feel like they're using way too many excuses. Bullard was the only member that said it should be a point 0.5. The UK since that time has also risen. One of their members also said 0.5, and that's after this is their third raise, and they're still saying, "Hey, listen, it should be a point 0.5." As well as they said that inflation will continue to rise for the next year, and their inflation rate in the second quarter is 8%. So obviously, um, I don't know. They have more data than we have. They're looking at something we don't know. They are just not as intelligent as they think they are. I'm kind of leaning towards the last one. So it is what it is. Not much we can do about it. Because of that, markets haven't moved. Aussie dollar is the one that's up the most. Actually, I guess at this point now, the pound yen has gone up, 86 in the last 24 hours. So it is leading the pack by just a little tiny bit. But, dollars really giving us mixed signals. We have some dollar weakness, we have some dollar strength, we have no idea what it's doing. Um, it's pretty disappointing, that Biden wants to make a comment about how, yeah, we'll go digital to, we need to lead from the front when we are so far behind at this point. It's absolutely just it's embarrassing. Um, we can have inflation as high as it is. We have more power to control global inflation than anybody else. And what do we do? 0.25 because, we could hurt somebody's feelings. Um, yeah, yeah, okay. Here, here. Kip also agreed with that one. So, Debbie, that was for you. I don't know if you could hear it or not. Um, all right. So, yeah, is what it is. All I gotta say is it's going to be very interesting October. Um, yeah, going to be very interesting. October, November, mid-cycle, midterm elections. Obviously, we're kind of getting painted a picture, and Biden is getting a little bit of a bump in approval for Ukraine because, again, every president, whenever there's any type of military action, tends to get a bump. That's just what happens. That's pretty standard. I don't think it's ever not happened. I think some of the biggest ones were obviously like 9/11 was a huge boom for approval ratings of things, but reality is the Ukraine situation won't last forever, and will it quickly evaporate when we have allowed inflation to go even much farther because of it. So we really don't have that much economic exposure, but it's going to get worse. And even Yellen said, "Hey, prepare for inflation to continue to rise for the next year." It's like, wow, we're going to raise 7 times this year, and or 6 times, 7 times. That's still debatable, and yet you're going to do nothing. So yeah, and now this is a fun one. This Schnabel, I didn't know anything about Schnabel, right? I didn't know anything about her, but she is making all kinds of cool new words, right? We have climateflation, we have fossilflation, and we have greenflation, right? Um, she's talking about everybody needs to get a solar panel. Everybody, the hydroelectric, the hydropower. There was actually an article this morning that says, I guess the Hoover Dam or whatever. We're at critical levels because of, again, there's been a drought out there. Critical levels where it could start affecting power. So it's like, hey, that's a hydroelectric plant, but you know what? Going to start having problems producing some power there. So yeah, that ain't helping us. And we obviously we can't, everybody can't have solar yet. We just don't have the resources for it. So But yeah, I thought that was cool. Climateflation, fossilflation, and greenflation. I'm like, okay, all right. Making up a whole lot of words. But that's how you get your name. There you go. There we go, buddy. Just go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Um, Another thing to talk about again, the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index was great, right? Talked about this how Empire yesterday. Where is it? Empire had problems. Was it 2 days ago? There it is. Empire 2 days ago just got absolutely blasted. We talked about how New York seems like it has some major problems. But then Philly had been doing good, and bam, Philly came in. Look at that, much better than expected, higher than before, much higher than the forecast. Like not double, but pretty close, right? Um, she's she sounds like a Schneebel. Yeah. Um, Industrial production good, unemployment claims down. So it's one of those things. It's like, oh, but the labor market is tight. I don't know. The labor market doesn't seem that bad, right? The unemployment rate keeps going down. Like, what excuse? Like, they have more excuses of why we can't do the right thing with inflation. So I don't know. But yeah, some of the other headlines here again. Annual inflation in the euro is completely jacked right now. Look at this: Estonia 11%, Chesna 10, Lithuania 14, right? Portugal, Finland, Sweden 4.4, over double what their mandate is. France, both of them, right? Malta, France 4.2. So, and again, I think if anybody has a reason why they should be lagging behind, I mean, Europe obviously can make a debate, right? They can have an argument about why they can't because of the spillover effect of a war right close, like right. I get it. That makes sense, even though they are so far beyond. And again, this is where I think the Ukraine is going to have some problems because Lithuania, Estonia, these are the chinks in the armor of the European Union. That it's not it's inflation is not the same in all countries, right? There's different things going on in each of the countries, and this is where the chinks in the armor about why the euro can never take over as the world currency because there's just too many problems where inflation's getting crushed in one area, but it's nothing in another area. The Ukraine even brings more contagion to this, right? Even more, I would say, even more. I don't want to say problems because that sounds bad, but it becomes even more of a problem for the EU. So I don't know. It's an interesting one, right? Um, so yeah, I don't know. But yesterday, last thing we heard, war wise, everything was moving towards kind of peace. They had, kind of seen some things. Today, it's all like, oh, are they going to default on payments? Like, who cares? Honestly, I don't know why it's a big deal if they default on payments. China was defaulting on payments, and you know what? The country still exists, guys. Remember Evergrande? Oh my God, it's going to bring the entire world down. We're going to go back into guess what? The world is still here. China still exists. And everyone's like, ever who? What was that? What was that again? Right? So they have money to pay it if they feel like paying it, but if they don't feel like paying it, it's just whatever. Todd's like, they lied about this, they lied about this. I'm like, we don't know if they lied, Todd. We don't know what they asked China, but everybody's denied it. Just because we said it doesn't mean it's true. Like, do we ever lie? Yes, we absolutely lie. You know why? Because the Biden, Wall Street Journal, who he quotes all the time, said that, hey, listen, we reached out and asked Saudis to produce more oil, and the guy wouldn't even take take the phone call. And then the White House was like, no, we talked, and Saudi Arabia was like, no, we didn't talk. We're not happy with you. So it's kind of funny that, and he's suddenly like, no, Russia said it. It's a lie. They definitely did. So yeah. Um, the last we heard from the Ukraine is that they had like a 15-point plan. So peace could be a big deal over there. Um, Again, I think at the end of the day, Biden or I feel like we're extending the war over there. Russia is like, yeah, go ahead, supply arms to them. Like, we're literally talking peace. We have a 15-point plan. Their biggest problem was we don't want military weapons there. They wanted to demilitarize the Ukraine. They're kind of on their way. And then the U.S. the day later is like, hey, you know what? We're going to send in Switchblade drones because the war can't end. And we're going to send even more weapons over there because we definitely can't let this war end. I know you're close on peace, but like, shit, just let them finish it off. Like, they're like, man, we had 2 days worth of peace talks. Putin didn't mess it up yesterday, and our response is we're gonna send more weapons. You need more weapons in there. Like, yo, let's send less weapons. They're close to peace, right? They're talking about getting and moving people out. Like, you wanted to do diplomacy forever, and now we're nothing about sending as many billions of dollars worth of weapons there. Um, you know, it's kind of funny. I really don't know what they're thinking. Like, if they were dropped as babies or what it was, but like, you don't want to be involved, but then you still want to send weapons to keep the conflict going. Like, okay. Um, And there was news articles yesterday, pretty interesting. I thought this was pretty funny. Russia is sending dummy missiles, right? They're shooting dummy missiles so that all the anti-air stuff gets wasted on the fake dummy missiles. I was like, good for them. I mean, they're not, I mean, pretty ingenious, right? Hey, we know that you have a decent anti-air thing, right? Because you've been given all these weapons. So you know what? We're gonna shoot non-life-threatening missiles, so that way you waste it on all the bad stuff. It's like, kind of ingenious, right? You're gonna shoot the first couple down, so we're gonna shoot fake ones. It's like a video game, I swear to God. It's funny how it works out. So, anyway, the next 24 hours, we really don't have a lot. Tomorrow morning, we have BOJ. We have some CAD. We have CAD retail sales, which, again, expected to be good. I expect this to probably drop a bit more. And then existing home sales, again, not really necessarily a big mover. I expect existing home sales, again, that'll be on headlines. I expect that to start dropping just because with interest rates driving up, you're starting to see people like new home buyers like, I feel like we're getting betrayed in this. We're seeing inflation go crazy. Um, all they you know all they need to do at this point is remove the mortgage interest rate deduction from taxes, and then again, then it'll be great. No one will ever want to buy a house again. So that's remove that. No one. It's just easier to rent. Um, we should not let them have cheaper taxes. We should charge them more because we need to pay for more things. So let's get rid of that deduction. It's a loophole, right? Um, that'll be the next thing. So existing home sales should deteriorate, but it shouldn't really have that much market control tomorrow. It'll mostly be kind of the morning, and then obviously any other headlines we get. Um, yeah. So we'll see. Um, really nothing else. Asian markets, we should see some more. Also, time wise, remember, so China did their lockdown. I don't know. I didn't get the details of how long they were considering the lockdown to be. But remember, Omicron had a lower lockdown rate, or not necessarily rate, but because it was like fast in, fast out. It was much less than like the 14 days before. Obviously, today is not the day they're going to release everything, but I do think that really Saturday, Sunday, depending on what Chinese numbers look like, we may also get some more insight of when they're going to lift that up, right? Lift the lockdown. Their market is completely recovered because they're like, oh, it's Omicron. This is no big deal, right? But the question is, will they carry it into 2 weeks? Will they do 10 days? Will they do 7 days? When they start lifting the lockdown, that should actually give us a really, really big boost in the overall indices as well. That could come this weekend. We may start hearing 5 days in that, listen, it's going to end on Tuesday. It's going to end on Wednesday. That should be a pretty big boost. So we're a little bit there. We're a little bit far away from it yet. But I do think that that's, again, just kind of get it out there. Keep that, on the radar, particularly for tomorrow. Okay. Let's go over into charts and look at them. So this is pretty funny. This was a complete manipulation of traders. I was laughing about it with Todd. But hey, that Hoover Dam does look weak. I saw it up close. They definitely need to figure that out. Well, it's not so much the dam breaking; it's that it's running out of water, right? They talked about because of the drought, it's now below a specific. I guess it's not. I don't know. There's not enough water refilling the dam, so it's going to start losing its ability to create power. Is what the article was talking about, and it said like how many feet above sea level it is, or I think it's not rated in gallons, but whatever the rating was, basically because of like the drought situation that they've had, that the water level has gotten to a critical level for producing power, and that's not something that we can just fix. So yeah, it's one of those like I don't know. It, it's kind of like Mother Nature. At the end of the day, she trumps all, right? She wants to provide. It's funny. California wanted nothing. They're like, oh, we're under a drought for so many years, and then it rains for like a month straight, and they're like, why is it raining? This is horrible. It's like because you guys wished for rain forever. You were a drought forever. Now you had rain, and you don't want it anymore. So it's like make up your mind. What do you want? What do you want? Never happy. Anyway, Australia dollar. You guys can see that we're looking for kind of a Harry Potter trade, but you guys can see that the market kind of saw this one coming. It telegraphed it. It continued to push it higher, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, here it comes. They drove the price down for what 3-4 hours before the news came out, and literally FOMC spiked it down and was like, oh my God, dollar strength. We're raising interest rates, and then it's like that's only 0.25. Never mind, and then just took off. It went crazy. So it did kind of come back to a small basing level, whether you guys caught it, got in or not. Entirely up to you guys. It ended up going down, not up. So again, the short trade didn't necessarily make much of a difference. It is funny though that Oh, it's the wrong keyboard. I'm like, wait, no, not that one. No, buddy, stop. There we go. This is the problem with having two keyboards. If, like I'm like, wait, I'm looking for delete, but the delete's over there. It is funny that it kind of pulled back and then kind of used that level and based in it. It wasn't a real big level as far as looking to get reversals off of. We're kind of looking for a pre-news move, but again, the news move was, hey, listen, send this down dollar strength. We're going to see massive dollar weakness after the raise, and that's exactly what happened. So right now we're kind of pushing back up top again. This level really doesn't help us much anymore. We obviously had this level kind of up top, and there is a little bit of a test. And question is this going to be a reversal level? And I'm thinking that this is probably more for, you know, we could definitely take a little bit more of a run up. I mean, it only needs about 15 pips before hitting that zone. Could it be said for a 1030 reversal? It could be. Sure, it could be. Um, the reality is, yes, 0.25 is rather weak, but it still is an interest rate rise. So, I mean, there is something to it. Again, people looking, this would be a full retracement of kind of where we had fibs drawn. Right now, if we remove fibs, oops, I'm hitting the wrong keyboard again. All right, buddy, I'm going to move this. I'm going to put this one down here. There we go. If we reverse it now, just to kind of look for, oh yeah, figures. I switched keyboards, and now you're like, oh, I want to hit the black one. You can see that the 50 is really kind of muddled inside of the interest rate change. What here? What here? So it's not going to be as big of a deal for me going top to bottom on this one because there's no definable level of demand in there. So not really concerned. And again, it may even go a little bit higher, but we got that racetrack. So what I would look for in this one is again, I'd be looking for a reversal. Overall, again, the United States economy is going to be stronger than Australia. Australia will start rising, but it's getting some help from gold right now because again, gold's up 0.8%. The 0.25 is kind of laughable, and again, this is following back again. I would say I'm looking at this kind of basing level right here. It is somewhat kind of in the middle of this big push, but I like how this is again. This was an interest rate driven spike, 3 candles straight up. It moved it about 94 pips again above a daily ATR in an hour and a half. We know why it happened, but the fact that it based here, punched higher, and then pulled back and used it, that again tends to be one of those telltale signs that hey, listen, this could be a nice little kind of shorting area, right? We need to eat the orders up in there. It may hit it once or twice and bounce, but going forward, again, this is a parabolic retracement based trade, and we don't really have a lot of buyers in here until we get much lower. So, could be a decent opportunity in there. Again, this is one of those ones we want to kind of set a horizontal line and say, hey, listen, let me know when this is coming back through again, right? Let me know when it comes through. I don't know what day it is, or what day it will come through. Maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's Monday, maybe it's Sunday. Don't know. But when it does come through, again, that's when we're looking to take those ones short. There's obviously going to be a shorting opportunity up top, and again, we've seen shorts up here in the past. We've seen these levels, but I would say that would be the next viable one up top. Also, yen, we're also driving, and it's funny. Also, yen, look at this. It hit it, it bounced, it hit it, it bounced, and it literally kept bouncing right back and forth those two levels. So let's remove a lot of these. That's an old level. We don't need that. We don't need that. We can pull this one off. Let's grab some fibs on this one. Yes, look at that. Right there is where that takeoff point was. So that would be a level we'd want to watch out for later on down the road. We're going to leave that there. Oh, what are you doing? No. There we go. Sorry. If the keyboard suddenly jumps and I like freeze, it's because he's here. You want keyboards again? Here. You hit this keyboard. Hit Reese's keyboard. Yeah, this one's got fish on it. Oh god, don't pull it off the table. He's at that stage where he's like grabby. I will say we had a funny situation yesterday. So he's at the stage now where we're starting to feed him. And again, if you guys don't like kids, this is going to bore you, but this was pretty funny. It's reminding me. He's at the stage now where we're starting to give him food. It's not to eat it just for like, different flavors and to see if he has any allergies or everything. Well, we gave him green beans. Okay. It just happens to be in the same size jar as like pesto. Reese yesterday, or yeah, it was yesterday. He gets some pasta out. We had some cooked pasta or whatever. So he took it out. He takes the baby's baby food, the green jar of basically green beans. And he's like, Dad, does this look good? I'm like, yeah, it looks fine, buddy. So he was getting ready to pesto his pasta, but with Kip's green bean baby food. I thought it was absolutely hysterical. Uh, Debbie, I'm sure you appreciate it as well. Anyway, Aussie yen. So Aussie yen, we know we're driving up. I think the Aussie dollar is a better trade. This one's pushing up into a higher time frame zone, up at 87.55. That's where the trade's going to come in. Wait for it to switch. Like I said, this one being the proxy with the yen makes it a little bit more exciting. Pullback level, we know that we did have a level sitting in there, right around where the 23 is. Um, I'd say this one also kind of has the same type of Harry Potter potential, right? Probably in that level. And again, it'll grab with this 23.6 pullback. I think this one probably has one more hit. That's why I'm not going to draw it completely. But I think there's another. Again, this is it's a run of 55 pips. So again, a nice run down there, same parabolic move. And again, also again, dollar's not involved. Okay, so it could be a nice little trade setup to the downside. That would be a break. Yes, buddy, don't break them. Break of 86.48, and you can see we got a lot of room to run. So liking that one, and again, we'll probably take a bounce up here, but I want to see it come in first. Just the nature of the proxy, I want to get a little bit more space on it. Euro pound. You may say, what the heck happened here? Well, same thing. They drove it down, 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 down. News came out, and boom, explosion. Um, yeah, it's kind of in an area where, I mean, again, we're expecting reversal on this one. This one is more of more of a near-term based trade. The risk level on this is about 13 pips. Hello, Jinjin. Jinjin, can you close Daddy's door? Thank you. You're the best. Um, you can see that the 1 to 3 is literally in the middle of this area. So we got plenty of room. Profit target, if you guys were taking this one, would be sitting right here. Okay, so again, nice little short, and all it is a parabolic retracement move. Again, market was kind of pissed off. They wanted a 0.5, they got a 0.25, extremely weak for the pound. Again, the third raise, 8%, in second quarter inflation. Yeah, they're yeah, drama. So again, looking for this one to turn and roll. That's kind of a newer base trade. We just got entered, and I think it comes back down. I mean, it's not the pound raised. It is less than what the market expected, but it is now up at that 0.75. It is something that will start driving larger mass amounts of money. But I'm still having issues with my Twitch. If I seem silent, um, I don't know, Ernest. I know I got logged out and I had some problems the other day, but I don't necessarily have any problems today with it. Well, I can't get logged in again, but that's totally different. Actually, let me check something else, just to see if it is a you problem. I mean, it could be user error, right? Let me see. Um, no, it looks like I'm still on. And of course, there's that. Um, I don't know. Hold on, let me see. I'm trying to test it. Oh, I did get an alert. It says COVID cases have shot up more than 25% across Europe in the last 2 weeks. Should Americans be worried? A new surge is coming. Maybe. No, it seems like it's working for me right now. I'll leave it playing over here and see if it continues to go through. What? Here, eat this. Eat this. All right. So again, that short's in. Euro again. Same thing. You can see that it came up and tagged that 130, and then literally just was like ding, 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 and used it. And then again, it really hasn't done much since yesterday at around noon. He is pound on this keyword. Since yesterday at noon, it's really kind of in the same area. We're up a little bit right now, about 20 pips. I wouldn't say it's anything huge. And again, seeing headlines that it's up 25% in Europe, we should see somewhat of a rollover. None of the comments they've made have been good, but the problem is so many of the comments have been kind of negative as far as inflation, and we're not going to raise anything, and we have a contagion for this. It's just too easy for everybody to be trying to short the euro right now, and that's why we continue to see it go higher, 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 higher. We know we got a few little choppy levels in here. The best one is this one right here at 132.20. But again, little kind of hiccups. We're actually sitting right at a hiccup right now, and there's one just a little bit above. So, you know, there's a few things, but we're not in an extreme range. This is the best. Ow, what are you doing? Man, all I got to say is the boys were not super, super destructive. The girl was perfect. This boy is going to wreck everything. He's banging this keyboard. But you can see right now, we're at a hiccup level right now, and there's another little hiccup level right there. But this one ended up giving a little kind of Harry Potter kick through there. So let's pull this off. We don't need this. This alert is still on for a break. Actually, do I want to break there? No, I want the break There. All right, now you're breaking stuff, buddy. Yeah, I'm looking for a break of that level. Um, yeah. So 132.19 is the next real good area, and this is what it looks like. Okay, base a touch, it came up again, and then just got hammered. So should be a decent level for shorts. We got a little bit more room to run. 65 pips, so about another day worth of movement, right? About another day worth of movement. Euro dollar. All right. So euro dollar also trying to grind up. We mentioned that we had like a big area here, but this was too big of an area to take any trades off of. I mean, again, it hit it here, it sliced in, came up, sliced in again. FOMC shot it away from it, shot it back up, and then pulled right back into that same level. So, we know that it was kind of a hot button. Right now, there's not really a whole lot until 113.30. There's a couple sellers up here around 111. I'm sorry, 111.08. 111.30 is really kind of the next big level. And it has been hit. It's not a completely stop. There we go. Not a completely fresh level, but it's kind of the best one we got. This is quite choppy, back and forth. You can see all the wicks in here. See all the wicks up in here? It's not something we want to draw off of. So that's it right now. Again, kind of the same thinking. Everybody was like, oh my God, so bad, so bad. Europe's bad, Europe's bad. Short it, short it, short it. And that's why we're continuing to see it grind higher. They're definitely nowhere close to being able to raise interest rates soon. There's no reason why you'd send money over there. And inflation is starting to get even worse. So they'll do something eventually, but we're going to have peace in the Ukraine first. So let this one continue to grind higher, get better selling opportunities on it. Besides that, not much looking, not much good looking there. Pound. So here's the pound. Pound yen. What do we see? We actually had this level marked off yesterday. It was a full retracement of kind of where we had the fibs drawn the other day. And you can see we kind of came up. We tagged it at late last night, and then European session at 3 o'clock this morning. We hit it again, and then it kind of drove down, and then kind of drove right back up again. And at 7:45, we were sitting that same level again, and then bam, nice big candle to the downside. This was the same kind of trap, and it's 130 pips almost instantaneously. So, yeah, I mean, same idea. The pre-market move was up, 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 up. We were in a level. We've had this level here for a while. I mean, it's the top. It's from where we do the fibs from. So, um, a standard 30-minute news breakout to the downside. And again, both this and the pound dollar both looked exactly the same. They blew all the Nadex strike prices out. The 7 to 9, 2 hours, they just crushed it. I mean, there's no other way to say it. This was an absolute crush. It blew every binary out to the downside. Even the farthest out of the money ones, it went way past. So very easy news-based trade today. And as I mentioned yesterday, I mean, yeah, this technically this was supposed to be a big thing for the pound, right? Right? We're getting an interest rate rise, but unfortunately, the comments they made, it was only 0.25. It should have been a 0.5. It's 3 times. It's not doing anything. It's not slowing it down. The market positioned, and then bam, it came out. Like, there's the event. All the market did was pre-position this one to trap retail traders. And there you go. 130 pips instantaneously to the downside. So, right now it is down a little bit from where it was. Again, a lot of that was that pre-market positioning. Popped it back down again. I'd like to see where a new base comes in for this one. Hold on, I was looking for a pacifier. He's slowing down here. It's like, oh God, he's slowing down. Buddy, where is your pacifier? Ginger, be careful with the quarters. All right, there's one. Here, you're gonna slow down. There you go. Take your passy. There we go. Now, there we go. We're so tired from typing. Yeah, so tired. Here, lay back. There we go. All right, buddy. I'd like to see where that true bottom comes into this one. I do think that this one will have long opportunity in it. Again, it is a parabolic move. It didn't turn off really didn't quite get down to where I would like to say, hey, listen, let's take a turn. It does have the 2 wicks right now that are exactly on the bottom. I kind of want to see this one push up and then see, maybe this is what the base looks like if we come back and then rally up. Remember, this is actually more like that is kind of what it looks like. This is, just this one candle is 120 pips down. It's 1 day's worth of movement instantaneously. So, and with news that they raise interest rates, which is technically good. So I'm looking for this one to go long. If you wanted to get in some type of a longer contract, again, I think this one is decent. I think I think it comes all the way back up again, and it pushes back into this 156.56 area. Okay. Dollar yen. I'm sorry. Pound dollar. Same exact thing. You can see we had a level, and it came up and hit it. It hit it again. It hit it again. It hit it again. One, two, three. Number four is what broke. Right. There's your one hit. There's your two hits. There's your three hits. There is FOMC, and then bam, off to the races. And what did it do? It pre-positioned, 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 pre-positioned. And again, it's funny. Rising interest rate, right? The interest rate decision came out 14 right there. We raised the dollar. It means it's more powerful. Bam, dollar weakness. CAD rate, or pound raised, pound weakness. So, yeah. I would say same retracement on this one. This one, I like the candle formation a little bit better. I don't need that level. Probably in there, I'd like to see it pull back a little bit and really start gaining some ground, and I think that probably makes the most sense. Um, Again, the pound is a little bit. They've had three raises, we've had one, so they are definitely farther ahead. Um, and even on number three, they had one guy vote for point 0.5. We haven't had any yet, and we had one guy vote for 0.25. So I would say that they're a bit more on the hawkish side of things. Um, I think again, I think pound dollar is a long. Okay, CAD dollar. Okay, CAD dollar, we're looking for a pop. Actually, the pop came in sooner than expected, right? The pop came all the way up. The 1 to 3 was out. Here's where the actual news. I mean, it was already in a sell zone, really. I mean, we had pushed up the 4 o'clock. It's right here. You can see, looking for what you should have done. It should have been a short off the news. The green candle right here. There's your level of basing, right? Again, this was a profit target first that came up and used it for that second one. And we said, hey, listen, if you're, if we're there for news, then good. But there was the news spike up into a level of basing, and then boom, rolled all the way back down to the start of the move. So, okay, keep that away from Kip. Kip will swallow that, okay? Jin is now in the change, but she's going to give him a dime, and he's going to swallow it and make my day even more fun. Anyway, this trade from yesterday morning is out now. Let's see where this one can go. I'd say right now we're kind of building up some momentum. Let's see where we could get a pullback in this. Um, that. Let's move this. Yeah, buddy. I want to see. That's what I was looking for. Let's bring this down to a 2. It's not the best of zones, but I can see why I pop from there. All right, so there's going to be kind of our projected target. Yeah, it makes sense why that hit there. 70 pips. It's definitely over a day worth of movement. I would say for right now, short wise, this would be my target. Would be the 125.93. What? Did you drop your passy again? Where did it go? Where did it go? Hmm? I'm stepping on it. Oh, you're right. I am stepping on it. Here. No. Here. With this. Here. There we go. Yeah, I would say again, I'm okay with this to the downside. Again, we got to come through a base, but I think this is just kind of more of a correction move. Reason why is because again, we're going to see CAD data tomorrow. Should it's supposed to be good? That should drive CAD strength in. Again, we're seeing a lot of dollar weakness in there right now because the 0.25 was pretty bad. So yeah, I think this one still comes down, but I think our target to the downside is 125.93. We could take a bounce off that potentially for tomorrow, but I think that's where it positions itself. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss, there's where we were. Again, we were above this little yellow area. We're looking for that for news-wise, and you can see that the 14 candle is actually this green one right here, and we spiked up into that level, the 94.44, and that's what shot us down. But the reality is, we're exactly where we were before. You can see that the market pre-positions itself, got itself really, really high, run into an area sellers, and then shot back right down. And this is where we were yesterday morning, right here. We're basically a couple pips down. So not much movement. We can raise this all the way up. You can see we're at the 23.6. I would say actually this one is kind of set up for a short too. We had all this basing right here. you guys are looking for, some type of a confirmation entry for later on today, I would say dollar Swiss is a short also. It's not the cleanest. There are some sellers a little bit down here, but I would say, you know, due to the fact that it's between the 23.6 and the 50, we definitely have some room to run. It's not the clean. Like I said, it's not the cleanest trade all the way back down, but the big traders are not going to come back in until the 50. How much is that? It's about 68, right? There's plenty of room to run in there. Let's see something real quick. Trying to see if I could smooth that out a little bit. I'm gonna probably put it there. Let's see. It's 14. Hmm. So we have the one area here that's good that could be the sticking point. Oops, not that one. That's where the sticking point's going to be if we can break through this one. I still like it for a short, right? Still think it's a pretty decent short. And again, big question is, do we actually break through now? Being that it is 10:15, right? 10:12. As we break through 93.72, it's kind of in that area, but we're also at a reversal time frame. So the question is, does this give us another hit and go higher? Right? Does this go here and then kind of go back up again? If it does that, I think that's great. I'm happy with that. That just shows me that the next time this comes through, this is probably a sell. Okay. So I'd actually almost recommend that. I think it would increase our chances on it. Um, it'd be a horizontal ray going right through there. Oops. Information entry needed. All right. All right. And then dollar yen. So dollar yen. You're like, wait a second, this one doesn't have all the crazy spikes. You're right, it doesn't have all the crazy spikes. So yesterday, let's see where we at. 14 right here. This was the crazy spike. We talked about it being not the best one to play. Here it is. Here, go down to 30 minutes, so it looks a little bit better. Here it is. 14. It went up 40 pips. Went immediately right back down 40 pips, and we're kind of in the same area. And again, this is because of the proxy nature of the dollar yen, and this is why I don't like it a lot for news releases, just because, particularly dollar-based ones, because it's good for regular ones, but something like an interest rate where it affects uh, the 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 value of the dollar as well as kind of the proxy of the stock market, which is the exact opposite. It kind of washes itself out. So you can see it's literally at 0.01%. Yeah, 37 pips in 24 hours. Right now it's about to turn red. Right, it's 0.0, completely flat from where the close was yesterday. But we're ready to go red. Like any second, it's going to go red. Come on, give it to us. It's so close. Oh, it's up. It's 0.01. It's trying. It's trying to fight. It's trying to fight. Here we go. About to go red. About to go red. It's half. It's half a pip. It's half a pip. It's got half a pip to go. Um, yeah, we'll see. It's pulling back a little, but it's basically it hasn't moved since yesterday. I would say there's no main driving force, so there's not much you can do with it. Um, let's look at the oil. So oil, I talked about this in Nadex today. I don't need to rehash it all, but if we go top to bottom from the last major push down, again, we did have that bottom yesterday. I mean, this moved around a little bit, right? I mean, really, the bottom of this hitting that zone happened right at FOMC time yesterday to raise the interest rates. It's funny they raised interest rates to get rid of inflation, and what did gold do, or what did oil do? It went up $6 and you know, let's see what $6.88. We talked earlier in the week about 101.93 would be the next target at the top side. We're hitting it right now. I would say this is a very interesting trade. Reason why is obviously you're seeing it's having some problems going through. It is a 23.6, so anybody that's looking to be short oil, right? This is where they'd be doing it, right? This initial pullback level. It was our target. We've just hit our target, and the question is, do we turn and reverse? It is. It is. We're in the 10:30 reversal time frame, right? We're 14 minutes away from the reversal time. The Europeans have done nothing but send it straight up. Question is, do you want to mess with the fundamentals on this one? And that's really what it's boiling back down to. So like I said, I said yesterday and the day before I was bullish oil. both days. Although it's up 7.18%, it's basically 7.2%. Um, it's at a level right now, I would say, if we have some profit taking overall, again, I'm still bullish oil. Overall, though, again, if you're not out for profit or if you're looking for a small short, this is probably where you'd want to do it. Hold on. What'd you do? There we go. No, not natural gas. What did you do? There we go. I would say, again, if you want to get into this one, this would be where to do it. I'm not going to do it. Um, I still fundamentally think it will go higher. But if you were looking for a short-term short, like short term, I'm not going to be able to follow this one today. This would be where you'd looking to do it. Okay. Natural gas again rallying higher. What's interesting about this one is now we've broken through the top, so we can make some adjustments. As you can see, the 476, it hit it and it pushed, and came all the way down. And then the European session, it's like, oh yeah, we really need this. That's when we started to take off again. So it definitely this one held up for a while. So we can remove him now. He did his job. Again, buddy, careful. All right, so now this is where we're at. Okay, it's an interesting draw. The one thing that I like right now is when you look to see where the 50 is, there's actually a level of basing and a pop. So there's actually a zone sitting right there on the 50 that's already been touched and confirmed one time. If this is our top, which again, I don't know if it'll be the top. Like I said, I'm still kind of bullish to this one right now. Just with, hold on one second. No, those coins have to stay away from Kip, please. Kip will eat them. Um, Depending on if we can get our top today, that 50% level is one right down here at 470. I think it's 470. Yeah, 469.20. Definitely a level to watch out for. Okay. It's not going to be a today thing, but again, this was pretty much a European move straight up. I would look for a roll. Again, could provide some decent opportunity. Okay. Where this one could stop, right now, we're in this. There's really no stopping this one back until 514. Right? So I mean, we have smooth sailing. I'm just saying, if this is the top, we got a decent spot here. Okay, watch that one for next time. If we push all the way up, you can see that same level kind of floats in around the 61. Right? Um, it's more in here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it get front run a little bit. But right now, if this is our top, it's a level I want to watch out for. Either way, it's a level. It's just how good of a level it's going to be for natural gas. But I do think again we'll get some profit taking later today. A little bit of a pullback. See if there's any comments on gas. I'm waiting for Russia to turn it off. Ukraine and Turkey to focus on setting up a meeting between Ukraine and Russian presidents. Okay. Yep, I think this is a great idea. I think Turkey and the Ukraine coming up with a security guarantee makes complete sense. Yep, I think he's on par here. That a permanent ceasefire could lead to a long-term solution. It says it'll never happen, but yeah, I think, like I said, I think Russia would be fine because it really. I mean, yeah, Turkey is not a major problem. Russia doesn't love Turkey, but again, a mutual agreement between these two, right, makes sense. Right, it's geographically located. I think that makes sense, and again, I think that's good for the overall situation. Um, yeah, that's all we got from it. So I think it's good. So again, look for a top in this one. Right now, we're dealing with this little hiccup right here. This is kind of what we're dealing with. This little base. We get any higher than this, if we break through the 492, got about another 3 cents. We should run all the way up back up to the 514. But we're looking for a top. Gold. All right, so gold. I was pretty excited to talk about gold. So there's our bottom in gold. We were calling for 1888. Okay. I missed it by just a little bit. You can see that FOMC just continued to drive it down, 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 down. And it's like, wait a second, 0.25? They laughed at the Fed and have shot it higher. So we went all the way from 1895 back up to 1945. Okay. Heck of a rally. I actually got an email about this yesterday from a person like, "Hey, I'm so confused. Like, you said that rising interest rates. Yes, I did. Rising interest rates, when you're trying to crush rising interest rates, gold is typically a negative trade. But I also said, if you guys remember back, A 0.25 is not going to stop inflation. And I said, if they come out with any type of a weak statement, I said, if they make a comment about how we're going to reevaluate next meeting because of tight labor market in the Ukraine, or if they come out with a 0.25 and it's kind of like a, yeah, we're going to do 0.25 because we're serious and we're going to use all the means possible, but we're going to use a 0.25, right? Then it would be considered weak by the market, and inflation is going to continue to grow. Well, all the gold traders out there basically said 0.25, really? That's a joke, and that's why we've seen $50 worth of movement in gold. Got to say that it's there. It's all the writing's on the wall. Absolutely, without a doubt, 100% justified to go higher, right? This is what it should have done. Now, we are getting close to the 50% fib level. Let me take some of these off so it's a little bit easier to read. Take that one off. All right, so right now, if we did the recent high to low, you can see that 50% just happens to be around an area where we have some basing. Okay, we're getting pretty close right now, right? Uh, do I think inflation is going to continue to rise at least for the next 6 months? Yes, yes. Um, if if I felt the Fed was serious about actually stopping inflation, then yeah, I would say you need to turn this one, you need to turn this one around. But right now they're not. They've proven that they're not. There's one person that has any clue what the heck they're talking about at the Fed in my eyes. And the market also agrees with Bullard. So yeah. He'll either get so tired of the Fed that he walks away and says, I'm done. These guys are a bunch of idiots, or he's going to end up taking over. When Powell gets out, they're going to say, listen, we need someone that's more progressive, more that someone's in touch with, what the actual conditions and concerns are of the public. That would be Bullard. And you'll notice, what's interesting? With everything we've seen that he's dissenting. We've seen that he says this. We've seen that he said this. And Yellen says inflation is going to last for the year. You know who we haven't heard anything from? Bernard. Nothing. So pretty interesting that she's the vice. And we've absolutely heard zero coming from her. So question is, was this a token appointment to appease voters? And will she disappear when things get tough? Pretty interesting. But yeah, 100% justified. Hopefully, you guys got long from gold yesterday. Again, we missed our entry on it, unfortunately. But once you saw FOMC come in and it wasn't at that level, you should have been looking to go long. Easy trade on that one. Silver, same thing. It's just following. We were talking about, listen, like maybe if it runs up, if we look at the pre-market move, look for it to go higher, 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 higher. It didn't. It just drove it down, 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 down. So again, it drove it to a level for news. It just didn't go high. We were hoping to go high. It was unfortunately it went low and then obviously spiked to the top side for the same reason that we just talked about with gold. And it's funny, there's actually a little Harry Potter trade right here as well. But right now, um, silver's going to go a little bit more. Gold's going to have to put a top in before silver's ready to turn and flip back to the downside. It's probably close. Most likely, it's going to be around the 78.6 in this case because it's already kind of pushed in this level and then fallen back and then pushed again and then pushed again. So there's not really a lot of sellers left here to hold it. There's that little tiny position here, but most likely it's going to be up in here is where this one will turn and roll at end of day. And I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if gold and silver are both red tomorrow, just because it's been such a push today. Everybody's going to see this and be like, oh, got to go long gold. Got to go long gold. And that's actually not the right play, but again, you got to take what the market gives you. So it's there. Let's see what we got here. So VIX took a big hit. I mean, again, obviously there's a lot of volatility going up to the FOMC notes, and then it came out and it's like, really? You're not going to kill the market? And it just dropped. Because of it, again, in the overnight, there's always going to be a little bit of movement, and all it's doing is drop it down. It's down 1.8%. Are the indices rocking today? No, not really. I mean, here's what we have with the indices, all right? Let's bring it down to a 15 minutes to get you guys an accurate reading. As you can see, here's FOMC. The initial response from FOMC was down, 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 down. Like, oh my God, this is going to be bad. It's 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 going to be bad. And then FOMC came out right here. See that little red right there? What I tell you guys, wherever the market drives it, look to reverse it. It drove it down. We raised interest rates. Supposed to be bad for the economy, right? Not at 0.25. It already factored that in. And then boom, all the way back up. Tagged to 43.64. And again, these are levels from yesterday. And again, watch it go down. I believe the full, again, we weren't really worried about the yellow. We were looking for the red. I believe the full one is already out. I think we did get to the full 1 to 3 based off that yesterday in the overnight. Yeah, we did. Yeah, 1 to 3 was right there. So it actually came all the way down. It got really, really close and then came back up. It didn't trigger a second time, but we ended up getting out at about 6 o'clock this morning. So That was a trade setup from yesterday. Like I said, look for the market to tell us where the price is going to go, and it did exactly that. It drove down. It ended up spiking into a little level as well, but yeah, went down and stopped right there. Right. Um, Easy trade. So we're at a level right now where we could have a potential reversal. It's up point 0.2. VIX is obviously down. There's really no major headlines right now. I mean, we're an hour and a half into the market. It's really been straight up since the market opened. You guys can see that we kind of came down and we were stabilizing at this level of buyers. I actually had a level drawn kind of right there, and we didn't quite get there. I'd love to say that, hey, listen, if we rounded, depending on how you drew it, if you drew it off of the base here, if you decided to draw it there, you probably got long at the open. I'm not going to draw it and say, hey, this is definitely a hit today because you may or may not have gotten in, right? If you use the red candle, it's so close. It would depend on your broker exactly how you drew it, exactly the price in. Could you have traded this on a 15-minute, the setups at the open? Yes, 100% you could have done it. It would have if it would have gone the full 1 to 3 already. You would already be out of your trade. Again, this one closed itself out there. Here, I'll reverse it for the people that are like, wait, did it? Did it? You know, depending on how you had this one drawn and what your entry price was, your 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So you guys can see there's one. Okay, you could have absolutely counted that one. Okay, number two, this one also kind of came back, and again, using that same red candle, it's right there. And yes, this one, I am going to draw and say yes. You absolutely should have got into this one. Okay. Told you yesterday we'd hit 14,000. We did. We pulled back. And again, there was a short opportunity in the overnight. There was the top. There was a short at 3 a.m. And again, the short was very, very easy. Okay. This was a very, very easy one to run, guys. Here. And 1 to 3 is there. It's actually 1 to 309. And there. You're out. Here is the 930 candle for the open. So absolutely without a doubt, this was a long at the open. And there's your 1 to 3. One that's 3.02. So again, absolutely without a doubt, 100%. Now, question is it going to reverse? I'd say probably the ES is at a reversal level or pretty close. NQ is at a reversal level. We're at 10:30 in the morning, so not necessarily surprising either one of those. But again, most likely, again, ES questionable depending on how you drew it. NQ without a doubt, absolutely long at the open. And again, both those are already out. YM also the same thing, and also came right back to this level here. And again, depending on how you drew it, right, depending on there, it came down and it did touch. Again, it's close. Like I said, you would have had to definitely touch it because of this. And again, we knew we had a level up top. This level in the overnight would have been right there. So again, same short in the overnight. 1 to 3 is there. That's actually more than 1 to 3. And then same thing at the open. Again, depending on how you drew it, your 1 to 3 is right there. So absolutely NQ, ES, and YM. Most likely you got in, but I don't want to be like, look, I told you it was going to work every single one of the time because it would have depended on how you drew it. Should you have gotten into the YM? Yes. ES, questionable. It would have really depended on your draw. I'd say that was a 50-50 you getting in, even though it did what it was supposed to do. NQ, absolutely. YM, you should have gotten an entry on this one because you knew you had a touch here. So you really kind of should have had it to there. Is really where you should have had it. Even if I adjust this just a little bit, someone's going to be like, well, wait a second, you moved it. Yeah, I did. I moved it. 1 to 3 is right there. You're beyond. Russell, same thing. You guys can see that Russell came down. Russell didn't have the same telltale sign over here, but it was there, right there, and you can see a touch and a touch. Russell is the other one that absolutely you should have gotten in at the open. Right there's your 1 to 3 right there. So as far as the 15-minute setups go, by the way, there was one in the overnight. We were already looking for the short. We were a little bit off on it, though. It was actually up here. There was the FOMC spike, and then there was the entry. And that's 1 to 4.2. 1 to 3 is right there. So kind of the same thing, right? European session open was right there. That's the 3 a.m. candle. So it's actually really there. Is what it should have been. So, and you can see that we are absolutely out on this one as well. So again, excuse me. Using the 15-minute charts at the open, again, finding pullbacks pretty easy today. You should have been 3 out of 4. You could have actually been 4 out of 4 depending on what your draws were. All 4 of them had the same exact thing. They drove back in the 2 hours before news started, went into a 15-minute level, and then again, typically within the first 30 minutes on all these candles, you were out for a 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio based trade. They are all kind of, again, this one has a bunch of hiccups, but I mean, ES, I would say, again, it's 10:30 reversal time. We are bouncing right off of that level into kind of like a short. And again, you can see it's already starting to move back down. NQ already about halfway back. YM also running into that same level and starting to turn and flip. And the Russell, it's red, but this one has a little bit murkier which one you would actually use. Whoops, I want to move that. Nope, not that one either. Kip's not even here right now. I can't even blame him. You can see it's also to level. So of the three shorts, I think ES and QYM are better shorts than the Russell. But Russell was absolutely one of the ones you should have got. So again, 15 minutes at the open, 3 out of 4 should have been 4 out of 4. Um, that's it. Looks like crypto's again kind of holding. It spiked up and is holding and now pushing back a little bit. Not necessarily surprised. It looks like it's risk off. And TLT again, we're basically where we close. It's more or less flat. Let me see if there's any additional headlines that we got. Natural gas inventory is down a little bit, right? Um, a default by the Russian government bond payments would cement its status as an outsider. I don't know if I honestly, I love the statement. A default by the Russian government on its bond payments would cement its status as an outsider of the global financial system. The rest of the world basically told them that you're going to be cut off from the global financial system. So what is their motivation to stay connected to their bond payments? I'm kind of confused. Like if you cut me off, like okay, if you just cut me off, I can't do anything. Then fine, I'm not going to make my bond payments. Like you've already cut me off from the world. You want no businesses to do anything here, so I'm not paying. Um, it could also cause even more losses for investors holding bonds currently worth pennies on the dollar. Yeah. Um, said that it made good on its required investment payments due Tuesday on its dollar-denominated bonds. That's after Russia's finance minister told state media that the payments might not go through. Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like they're in, but it doesn't seem like anybody is confirming one way or the other. But I would default if I was Russia. Like, listen, you've just cut me off from the entire world. Why would I make payments to you if you've just cut me off from the world? Like, oh, if I don't make payments, you're going to cut me off. You already cut me off. Put me back on, and I'll make those payments. Is what they should have said. But hey, I'm just a, you know, I'm just a Monday morning quarterback. What do I know, right? But I just feel like if you cut me off and then said, "But you're still going to pay us," I'd be like, "No, put me back in, and then I'll pay you." No, you're not going to put me back in. Okay, I'm not paying. If you're not going to work with me, then why am I going to work with you, right? Schoolyard rules, man. Schoolyard rules. All right, let's go ahead and do the drawing for today. Will won yesterday. Will won yesterday, so Will is going for 100 today. Everybody else is going for 50 because I missed those 2 days last week. Even though today's a Thursday, we're still going to do 50 just to make up for those 2 missed days. Let's close it down and see what we got. It looks almost identical to yesterday, 9 and 13. I think we had more people a little bit in yesterday. What do we got in here? Ernest and 2, look at Will. Will's finally playing the game. Finally playing the game. All right, winner of today's drawing is. Look at that. Now, I wouldn't say that Will bought this one. Yeah, he had 3, but Ernest had 2. 2 down here. Yeah, he put a little bit extra in, but again, it was for 100 pip chips. So he did. Remember, you get 1 free. He used 20 pip chips to make 100. It's a good risk to reward ratio trade. So go, Will. You did it right today, my friend. You did it right today. Give you your 100. And again, I'm telling you, whatever Will's doing is working for him. So he's bringing it back. So, all right, with that said, guys, I'm going to go get Kip again. Melissa came to grab him for 15 minutes. He's probably going to be asleep. All my hard work for an hour struggling with him, throwing keyboards and pacifiers and chew toys at me. And Jin saying, "Here, look, Kip. Here, take this dime, Kip. This would be wonderful for you to hold on to." I got to go rescue him now. So, with that said, if you guys need anything, shoot me a message on Discord. I'll be finalizing a lacrosse schedule this morning, so I'll definitely be around. And then, yeah, catch you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.